Yes, we are live now. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's conversation. My name is Enolia, and I'm here with my co-host Sara Jane and our special guest Bukeka Blakemore. And today's topic, we are going to be speaking about I Am Worthy. So thank you for joining us. We're excited to be here. And I'd like to take a moment and have Sara Jane say hello, and then have our guest host introduce herself a little bit more.
Hello, folks. Enolia, I am really sorry because I was corrected. I am going to correct you. It's Blakemore, not Blakemore.
Yes, well, sorry.
Our apologies, but we've got it right now.
We're good. We're good. We are good.
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Sara Jane. So let's have Bukeka introduce herself.
So my name is Bukeka Blakemore, and I have lots of wonderful things that I'm involved in. And as a matter of fact, just before coming on today's conversations, I was at a meeting, actually, an early meeting. And the question, what they charged the people in the audience to do was to say, don't go up and say, well, what do you do? Go up to someone and say, what is your dream? What is your dream? So I'm going to share with you my dream through the things that I have done or do in the world. And my dream is to help people go and come as they please, to live a life that is free, to live a life where they are creating all kinds of wonderful experiences through their finances, through their environments, through their relationships, through their spiritual being, through all of those different ways that we show up in the world, is to be able to connect and live that to the fullest, live it to the fullest. So that's kind of what I do and what I dream for myself as well as for others. So that's an introduction that I think will resonate with everyone that's here.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And there's a little bit more that you can share that I know about you. So tell us a little bit about your singing and your motivation of people.
Well, I am a singer-songwriter as well and public speaker. So, gosh, probably about in the late 90s. I was well, even before that, I was in a band with my then husband, and we were writing all kinds of funk and R&B music, and I wrote a lot of the lyrics, and a lot of the lyrics, as you even go back through to Motown, all that was like, how can you hurt me this way? I want to love you, but I don't want to really love myself, that type of thing. And so as I started writing music kind of in that R&B theme, it tended to go in that direction, but it was still a little bit more positive. But as I began to grow and evolve and decided to start writing music that could heal, could help individuals connect more with themselves, the music became more inspirational. But I still had that funky R&B soul type of vibe with it. So that was real. A lot of times when you're hearing inspirational music or music that has kind of a metaphysical vibe, there's a lot of flute and harps and dangling keyboards and all that. I had like a bass and a drum beat. And essentially that really became a way to communicate with people. So I would often use my music to weave it into speaking experiences, conferences, retreats. I can weave in those types of presentations with the music. So it's a really fun way to express yourself when you're trying to help people. But as we were talking about a little bit before the pre-call, do it with a lot of fun. Let's have some fun while we're at it. Yeah. So that's pretty much how the music and the speaking comes into play.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. So one of the songs that came out right at the beginning.
That's fantastic. Now that our audience has a little bit of a chance to get to know who you are,
So as far as getting a chance to know a little bit about who I am.
Please do go ahead. There's a delay, everyone, so that you realize it. So
a little bit about who I am I'm a wife, a mother of a stepmom, a grandmother of a lot, and I think that what people would really like to could help people is that I do have this desire to help people understand that their worth is inherent. And so I know that the topic that its title today is I Am Worthy. And some people feel that that's kind of a hard word for some people because they relate it to being deserving of something, when it really isn't that. I mean, our worth is inherent. It is our birthright. And because of life and our interactions and what we come to determine about ourselves, many times we begin to feel disconnected from that inherent worth. So one of the very first songs that I wrote it's called I Am Worthy of Love. And if you were to hear it, and you can certainly hear that if you go onto my website, bukekastyle.com, it was written in the 90s, and it sounds like that. I mean, you can really feel that. You can see the crystal ball. You can see the disco ball coming down and the smoke coming from the floor when you listen to this song. But it's all about worth. It's all about I am worthy. And the lyrics talk about how at one point there was a time when my frame of mind was lost and alone. Seems a long time ago I came to believe that nobody loved me. And from then on I went searching, but never finding love that was for real. But now I realize the truth. Love's not envy, love's not rude, love is patient, love is kind. And so I made up my mind that I am worthy of love.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Sarah Jane, why don't you give us your thoughts?
The worthy. But I think it's about starting with ourselves. It is so about starting with ourselves. You see so many quotes these days about it. You don't look for it outside yourself. You look for it inside yourself. It is right there inside you. All the love, all the acceptance, it is all there inside you. But unfortunately, so many of us have been brought up with the love yourself. No, you can't do that. The word selfish comes to mind. That so people. But when you are truly loving yourself, there is nothing selfish about it at all, because it actually supports you to be able to give real love to others and accept real love from others. It also helps you to tune in to what is real love and what is just potentially control from some people. So the loving of yourself and finding the worth within yourself. If you're somebody that's in an abusive type of relationship, then it doesn't matter who that relationship's with. It could be a family member, a sibling, it could be a partner, it could be a school friend, it could be anything, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody. But if there is something where you're being mistreated, all those negative words you were sort of saying, okay, then the worth within you is you are worth more than that. And it is up to you to say, no, my boundaries are, I do not accept that.
Right.
And it's really, go ahead. And it's really interesting because I think about it in a way that all of us go through life. And we have our ups and our downs, all right? We grow up with our belief systems, and we're taught as at least from a woman's perspective, to self-sacrifice, that everyone else comes before you, that the things that need to be taken care of, step back and make sure that the ones that you love are taken care of first before yourself. And then somewhere in the midst of all of that, we lose our own self-worth of saying, well, I'm equal par, and that what I bring to the table is just as valuable, just as important, just as needed in the midst of all of the stuff that we are trying to do to lift others up. We lose lifting ourselves up. And when you selected this topic of I am worthy, I was like, this is excellent, because I don't know how others feel, and I'm going to ask you both this, but there was a precipice within my life. There was a moment where I felt so low that I had to bring my self-worth up, that I had to realize, I had to come to an understanding that if I didn't start valuing me, who else was going to value me? If I didn't start honoring the fact that what I have to say is significant, what I stand for is important, how I speak and present myself has value, then who else is going to believe in me? So I'm just wondering, I'm listening to the beautiful lyrics of what you said, Bukeka. Was there a moment in time? What inspired that? Where did you pull from?
Well, definitely there was that moment in time, which is why the song came into existence. Mm-hmm. I was actually doing a workshop. It's called the 4T program. It was written by a man, gosh, I can't remember his name. It was called Tithing of Your Time, Talent, and Treasure. And part of the exercise was to just sit in meditation, cover your heart, and just repeat over and over, I am, I am, I am. And I started sobbing. And what came up was that feeling of, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am outside of being this man's wife. I don't know who I am outside of being this child's mother. As much as my parents poured into me, you can do and be whatever you want. Somehow that message was disintegrating. And when I went within and put my hand over my heart and just kept saying, I am, I am, I am, and listening for something, there was that truth that came, that I am worthy. And there was a woman by the name of Sharon Poindexter, Reverend Sharon Poindexter. And she was going through an illness and was releasing some videos or some cassette. That's how you know how far back. And she was doing a series on on relationships. And one of the audios, she had this portion that says, I am worthy, not because of what I know, not because of what I do. It's simply because I am. And so therefore I am worthy. And so when I heard that, and that was at the same time of even putting this song into place, it made me realize again, I know who I am. I know that I'm a child of God. I know that I have amazing talents. No one can take away from me. I know that I am a leader. I began to just realize all the things that I knew were true about me, but at some point I had lost. And probably even as a child or a teenager, something happened. Things happen, and you know what? They happen. They happen. And you just have to get to that point where you say, yes, they happened, but this is the truth. This is the truth about who I am.
Yes. Sara Jane?
Having spent so many years as a people pleaser because of the initial traumas that occurred in my life at a very, very young age, which we won't go into again because I'm sure we've shared them here before. I was one of these people, and I heard people say, I know who I am and I like who I am. And I'm thinking, how the heck do you do that? I have no idea who I am. I had no idea who I was. None. The wake-up call came in the form it came, and I remember, and bless him, I don't put any blame on anybody for anything, but I was in a marriage, and it had already happened once, and now it happened a second time, and I got home from work, working full-time. He was already home, sat in the chair, watching soap operas. I got home to cook the dinner. I don't have kids, so I was spacious as well because I had a big kid as my husband. And I put the meal on the table. He was still watching his soap sport, whatever it was that he was watching. And I asked a question or passed a comment or something, and there was silence. And eventually, 5-10 minutes later, did you say something? And I thought, what am I doing here? He obviously doesn't want this any more than I now want this. That resulted in me having eventually the courage, and I had no idea how it was going to work out, to say, the marriage is over. And he turned around to me and said, but I've got everything I ever wanted, and that includes you. Then why am I being treated like a slave in my own home?
Right.
So absolutely, but it was getting to the point where you're saying, that's it, no more, I'm not having any more of it. And it comes to us all differently in unique ways. The way I put it is comfort zone. We were in parallels. And your comfort zone has got to get so uncomfortable for you to take the courage to get out of it. And I likened it to his being lined with rose petals and mine being lined with rose thorns. Eventually, I really couldn't take it anymore. But I was partially responsible for things being the way they were. So I'm not, as I said, there is no blame attached here at all. It was, no, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah. Been there a couple of times. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, so what? That was the second marriage.
So I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm wanting to relate to the fact that something that you said, Bukeka, which was you were married, and somewhere in the midst of that, you lost who you were. And I believe that happens to us in our roles by taking on so much. You know, when you have on the hat of the mother, then you have on the hat of the wife, and you have on the role of the dutiful daughter, and they have on the role of the dutiful auntie and the dutiful sister, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And you're so busy fulfilling the roles of what everybody else perceives you. And for me, when I did this exercise where I peeled off all of those roles, I'm nobody's auntie, I'm nobody's sister, I'm nobody's mother, I'm nobody's blah, 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 blah. And when I looked at it and I'm like, well, then who am I? And what I found is by wearing all those roles, I was allowing my self-worth to be defined by people's perceptions of what I should be in the roles that I was playing for them. And what struck me deeply is that I had to face myself and define my own worth. And I think that this is where a lot of people go in this, and I'm going to ask you and Sara this, which is that why do we look for outside people and outside roles to define us instead of taking the time to learn to define and love ourselves first and foremost? And when I finally went through this exercise of looking in the mirror and learning to love who I see, and part of that was just like being able to look every day in the mirror and smile, accepting every part of myself, the parts that are weak and the parts that are strong. And then also not letting my fear lead me. And I'm doing a mouthful here, but these all played a role into it. And then I found that when I shed all those roles and I really understood my own self-worth from my own inner core of being, then I emanated that confidence and that truth and that foundation of knowing that I am somebody that is gifted and strong and all of those beautiful things that you said that when you defined it in your music, you know? So I when you shed those roles and you no longer look for that outside person or outside factor to define you, it changes everything. How did you find when you defined your self-worth? Was it coming from the outside first? Was there a shift? I mean, just how did that perspective come for you? For each of
you? When you first started, you asked, how does it get to that point? How do we start defining ourselves from the outside? And we do that from the beginning. You know, I thought about the fact that when we look at children and they start to have their personalities, oh, you're going to make a great lawyer. Oh, look, you're going to be a ballerina. Oh, you're just so, and so we speak those things into these beings that, you know, they don't even, they're malleable. They're trying to figure their way, and we put these things on them. We are definitely progressing as a humanity, so we're not as much pigeonholing the girl to the girl things or the boy to the boy things, but we still have that tendency to look at them and see what are they going to do in the world. And so that's just something that is a part of our, I think, our human construct to do that. As we become smarter and more conscious beings, we look at these little precious jewels and say, who have you come here to be? I have a wonderful friend named Rima Bonario. Rima, if you're watching, I hope you are. She just has a new book out, but she would talk about, who have you come here to be? And I love that question, because that just makes it full of all possibility. I've come to be fun. I've come to be love. I've come to be joy. I've come to be grateful. I've come to be, instead of what have I come here to do. And the other thing is that we do this not in just in relationship. We do this in relationship to everything that we are in relationship with. Okay, we do this in relationship to money. We do it in relationship to our environment. We do this in relationship to our work and our livelihood. We really do. And once we get to that point where we step up to ourselves and say, I am I'm taking the helm of my life. I'm defining who I am. Having our own philosophy and not being afraid to speak from that place is where you not only find your worth in your voice, but you feel it in your bones and in your posture and everything. It's quite exciting to be there in that place.
Beautiful.
Beautifully said, Bukeka. It really is, and I can't better that, and I'm not going to even try to. But I am going to, if you like, come at this from a slightly different perspective, because for many of us, we couldn't be here doing what we are doing if we hadn't had these experiences. And so by having the experiences, by getting ourselves to that place where we say, oi, stop, boundary. I'm putting up boundaries now where I had none before. We get to that place. That is the start of our growth. I'm not going to say we change, because we grow. We allow ourselves, but we grow from the experiences we have had. So if somebody said to me, what would you change about your life if you could? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because if I changed the minutest little thing, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing now. And I love my life. I love who I am. I love what I do. I have had to go through all of that to get where I am. Children, unfortunately, aren't raised by the majority of people with concentrating on their strengths and not having a go at them about their weaknesses. They are not raised with, sort of, children, yes, parents need to guide children to keep them safe. And I don't think you're ever going to get a situation where if a child is told no from love, they see it as being told no from love. They're being held back from something. You're going to get it. That is the state of human beings. That is how we work. Plus the fact, for me, our mind, our ego, its very first role that it was given was to be our protector, to help us to learn and to keep us safe. We've never changed its role, so it keeps coming back and niggling us. And so if we changed it, come on, it's now support us to live our lives because you've taught us so well. So it's about being grateful for the experiences we have had. So I don't think any of us are here trying to say we're knocking what's happened. It is just we can all grow from the experiences we've had. And it is okay to turn around and say, I love me. I am special. And I've had a client say that to me, oh, Sarah, you are special. I said, I know. Because there's no conceit wrapped up in that. None whatsoever. Because I consider every being on this planet to be special in their own unique way. Male or female, animal, insect, plant, every being on this planet is special. And so I think it's how we view things. And we don't have to come out of it hurt, upset, angry. We can come out of it with gratitude and joy that we've had the experiences, and we can now choose not to have them anymore.
That's true. That's true. We can choose to not have them. Exactly. Yeah. And
Very true.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you had shared. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do this. So the first thing that you shared with us is that you are a singer-songwriter, and you quoted "I Am Worthy" this song. And I would just feel remiss if I didn't ask you if you would be willing to sing it for us, even though it's a cappella. Miss Bukeka Blakemore, and I make sure I got your name right. I so apologize from the beginning, but would you be willing to share? Would you be willing to share with us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right. I am worthy. 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 I am worthy of love, the kind you dream of. I am worthy of love. Yes, I am worthy of love, like stars are above. I am worthy of love. Once there was a time when my frame of mind was lost and alone. Seems a long time ago, I came to believe that nobody loved me. And from then on, I went searching, but never finding love that was for real. But now I realize the truth. Love's not envy, love's not rude. Love is patient, love is kind. And so I made up my mind. I see the truth and it set me free. Set me free. Yes, there is a greater power in me. Yeah, I believe I am worthy. 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 Inspiration.
Oh my God! So beautiful! So beautiful! Oh my God!
You saw the disco ball, right? You saw the disco ball, and you saw the smoke coming up.
I couldn't see the disco ball. I was focused on you.
Well,
thank you. Just emanated.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. How did you come up with the inspiration for that song?
It was in that moment. It was in that moment of when I was in that I am moment, and the words just came. And as a songwriter, what happens with me is that I'll hear everything. I'll hear the drums, the guitar, the keys, and everything. None of which I play well at all. So I have to figure out how to translate everything that's coming into my head, and onto some type of paper or whatever. But yeah, in that instance, the words were just what I was understanding about myself, what was being revealed, what was unfolding. And I remember I was just like, I gotta find paper, I gotta write this down, I've got to figure this, got to get this together. But yeah, so that's how that came to be.
That's so beautiful. So beautiful. Each one of us, each one of us shares our gift to inspire, to motivate, to assist, to lift up. Oh my gosh. And I just have to say how inspirational that was for me. And I think how I want to leave this is I want us to share just any other thoughts that we would share with our audience, and make sure that there are no questions out there that any of the audience members want to ask us, but to share any, uplifting words about I am worthy that you would want to share right now from your heart to them out there that are listening.
From my heart, I would say that you've got this one life. You have this one life to do whatever you want to do. And you are worthy. You are worthy of expressing because if because it is what you're here to do. It is what you're here to be. You are here for a reason, and that reason is worth expressing itself. And it's a lot of fun. Even when you find out, 20, 30, 50 years later into the game, it's still worth exploring and expressing in every way that you can. I've decided for my life that one of the things that I've always loved doing is traveling. So I make it my point to do what I can to travel the world. And so I'm in the business of travel. I know that for one thing, I love to sing. And so I make it my business to sing wherever I can, even if I'm walking through the streets of some town or some village, or in my shower, or on the podcast. I love to just be free to be who I am. So that's what from my heart.
Beautiful.
Be true to you. Be true to who you are. Listen to your heart. Your heart is your connection to your soul. Your soul guides your heart. It is not about what goes on up here. It is about what you feel. How many times in your life do you think, oh, lovely, oh, I really fancy that, and this comes in? What about this? What about that? What about the other? What about? And you talked yourself out of it. That was my insecurity, being a people pleaser. Oh, I can't do that. What will people think of me? And I'm going to put it very bluntly here. Who the heck do I think I am that I think other people are spending their time thinking about me? Because they're not. They're thinking about what's going on in their own lives. So why? Why do we waste the energy worrying about what other people think? And do you know what? If they do start thinking, what is going on in their life that especially if they come in with this, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this, it's just, and they're actually your mind, but they're actually somebody else saying the things your mind has come up, because your mind has listened to all those things that have been said in the past. And one of the first things I did after leaving my marriage was I decided to do an abseil. And it's off a mushroom-shaped water tower. So you were actually dangling in midair. There was no bouncing down the edge of a building. It was just, I think, 150 foot or something. And my mother's immediate reaction, you can't do that. Actually, yes, I can. Since I've took my life back, it has been about having experiences. And you said it, we are not doings, we are beings. Being. And I became a member at the UK Wolf Conservation Trust. And as a member, you could go for a walk with wolves. I went a stage further. I became a trainee handler with them. I got up close and I adore animals. I trust animals more than I trust some people. And I think there's a lot of people out there who say that as well. In fact, there was a picture I saw today, and it was a wolf and a woman, and it was the wolf said, "You're not afraid of me." And her comment was, "No, I'm more afraid of my own kind." And yeah, go with it. If it's something you would like to do, it could be very simple, not cost anything. Yes, there are things that traveling can cost a lot, but give yourself the chance to experience this life, enjoy this life. And if there are going to be those people who are going to poo-hoo everything you do, you know what? They're probably jealous because they haven't got the courage to do it themselves. And the other thing by being true to you is you give other people permission to do the same.
So beautiful. I would like to share that for me, and you've heard me say this before, but to look in the mirror and love what you see. Honor yourself. Smile when you're in the mirror. Show that in loving self, in trusting self, and honoring self by loving the entirety of self, the parts that are good, the parts that are not so good. It's a completion of knowing that you are worthy coming from within, and then honoring self. And when I say honor self, it means that if you are a singer, then you're supposed to sing. If you are a wolf trainer, then you're supposed to train wolf. Okay? Whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever you love, honor it. Honor it. And bring it forward. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about other people's perceptions. Don't worry about other people's viewpoints and judgments. And live it. So I go back to what you both said. Bukeka said, you have one life to live, and that mantra lives for me. If you don't live your dream, you will be dreamt. You will be the antithesis of what everybody perceives you to be, instead of you having and holding a vision for yourself to walk through life. In holding that vision for yourself and seeing it in front of you, then life becomes the walk to that vision. And it is imperative that you hold the vision for yourself so that you can engage in life. Otherwise, you kind of move through life never conscious and never loving what you are and who you are and what you can do and what you bring to the table. It is imperative to dream a beautiful dream. It is imperative to hold the vision. It is imperative to trust yourself to live it. It is imperative to trust and love yourself and know your self-worth so that you can take this journey that God laid, a path called life. And on that note,
girl, you said it. You said it all. You said it all.
I just want to give you the opportunity. Bukeka, you brought so much to the table. Sarah Jane, I love you. You're my co-host. That's why we do it together. Bukeka, if you could share how people can get in contact with you, how people can engage you, your website, what you know, a little bit about what you do and how they can engage you if they wanted to speak with you. You know, I would love for you to do that. And then Sarah Jane, if you follow.
Well, I'd love to. My website is bukekastyle.com, and that's Bukeka style.com. You can find me on Facebook, Bukeka Blakemore. I do follow Facebook and love to engage. But, you know, certainly you can see kind of what's going on in the world of Bukeka Style. Also, my travel business is Travel Bukeka Style on Facebook and on Instagram. And there you can see all the different places that people want to go, because people are really wanting to go places really right now. And I love to create groups of people getting together, and soon we'll be able to do that. You can go onto Spotify and iTunes and hear some of the music on YouTube. You'll be able to find that music there as well. So there's lots of ways to have a taste of Bukeka Style, whether it's music, whether it's travel, whether it's entrepreneurship on LinkedIn, where you two met, and I'm so glad that we are also connected there as well. So there's a lot of Bukekas in South Africa. There's one in Kansas, and that's me.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So yes, I would love to engage
before you wrap it up too, you have to share with everyone how you came with the name, how you arrived with the name Bukeka. It's a beautiful story.
So my parents and dad, if you're watching, uh, named me Gretchen Elizabeth when I came into the world. And at the time, in the early 60s, Black people in America were changing their names from what they called their slave name to their African name. And so I chose Bukeka, which I didn't really know what it meant completely. I just knew that it had something to do with princesses. And I'm like, well, I'm a princess. So yes, my name is Bukeka. And they were gracious enough to have that legally done. In 2011, I traveled to Cape Town and stayed there for about a month. Met a group of ministers, and they said, do you know what your name means? And they said, it means the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, which was so beyond princess, right? And so I'm like, I will take that. But what's so amazing, like right now in this time of my life, I'm embracing it all. I am embracing Bukeka Bosede. I am embracing Gretchen Elizabeth as the whole of who I am, who I've come here to be, because Gretchen actually means pearl. So,
There you go.
A precious gem. So thank you for letting me share that part too, Enolia.
Yes.
I love that. It is so important to honor the whole of you. And because I work with name, and because I use toning, because I use voice as well, and the encouragement and people who change their name, then when I'm working, it's please may I use the name you were given when you were born, what your parents called you. But what you've just said is beautiful, because I changed my name. I changed it as a child. I was christened Sarah Jane. Sarah without the H, because I'm awkward, and that is me being awkward. But I was Jane as a child. I went through a lot as a very young child, and I had that feeling it was, Jane's gone through so much. I've got to do something. We'd moved town, went to a new school, and I told everybody at the new school I was called Sarah. And that threw everybody in the family out, because I was never Sarah to the family. But my understanding is that big light bulb moment. The only person who ever rejected me was me when I changed my name.
Wow.
So you're talking about honoring the whole, the Gretchen and the Bukeka. It absolutely. That is why, for work purposes, I am Sarah Jane, because I am honoring the whole of me. And I think that really fits in with what we are talking about being worthy. It is honoring the whole of everything that we have been through, that younger aspect, as well as the person we are today. Because that what we went through is what has made us who we are.
So I would love to put Sarah Jane on the spot, and I don't know if she'll do it or not. But Sarah Jane, you do this beautiful, beautiful honoring of people by singing their name. Would you honor us for Bukeka?
Okay, fine. Let's see what happens. I just suggest relax. If you wish to ground, please do in your own unique way, as I'm sure you are very aware of doing. How did that feel?
Ah,
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm crying too. Oh my God, it was so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Jane.
That was
Thank
beautiful.
you. Because you both are such special gifts. Yeah. And just kind of finishing on that, I love my name. I was named Enolia from my father, and I found my name in the Cherokee Nation. And I also found my name as African also. And in both in the Cherokee Nation it means black fox. And in the African it's the ancient one who brings forward knowledge. And I was just amazed. I love my name. And I thank my father for naming me after his sister every day. Every day. Woo! So I have tears coming in my eyes. The energy just changed. Sarah Jane, unless any of our guests, is there anything else that you want to share, Bukeka, before I hand it over to Sarah Jane to talk about our next show?
Well, Sarah Jane, now that I'm able to collect myself, thank you. Thank you, Enolia, for asking her to do that. And Sarah Jane, thank you so much for doing that. So precious. It will stay with me for the rest of my life. And for everyone out there, your worth is inherent. You are worthy, not because of what you know, not because of what you do. It's simply because you are. You are.
Thank you so much for joining us, Bukeka. My name's Enolia. I can be found on www.enolia.live. I do life coaching, I do energy work, and amongst other things. But check out the website if you're interested in connecting. And Sarah Jane, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I will make sure that those of you that are watching the actual video on YouTube, you will find the links for all of us under that. So you haven't got to think about, oh, what was that? It's there for you. So I thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. The lives that we touch in each other and the lives that we touch for those people that watch. That is why we do this. From love, from our hearts. Because we have been graced with feeling that worthy. But we also know what it feels like not to feel worthy. You can do it. Whether you are a woman or a man, or you are confused about the fact that you're in the wrong body, it doesn't matter who you are. Yes, it is 3 women sharing from their own experience. But this is for each and every one of you. And we do this and we bring this with love. Thank you for joining us. Right, our next program is on Wednesday, the 24th of March at what will be 7:30 p.m. GMT. Because we're still in Greenwich Mean Time at that point in time. In the States, you will have had your clocks change already. So it will be 12:30 p.m. PDT, because I believe you changed the S from standard to D to daytime or daylight time or something. Anyway, so we are being joined by Dr. Birgit Tan, and Birgit works with people to do with grief and loss. So grief and loss, what is it, and ways to support you through it. Because for me, grief and loss isn't just about the losing of a family member or a friend. It goes way deeper and it is a vast topic. So Birgit is going to be joining us and we're going to be sharing about grief and loss. So I hope you will join us for that. But I am going to say thank you to Enolia and to Bukeka for joining us, for joining me today, for letting me be a part of this today. And we will see you all again soon. And please, if you feel you need to get in touch with any of us, you will find, I've put Bukeka's links up in the chat, but I will make sure it's under the video as well. Please get in touch. We're here to support and help. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Much love to you all.
Namaste all. Bye.
Be well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.